Welcome legends to another episode of Heli Shed, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Funkey Bell 222. Those of you who have followed Heli Shed, and if you don't, why not, will know that this particular beautiful piece of fuselage is going to be Project 6, i.e. Bell 222. 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. This is going to be the fuselage that is going to house Bella, the T-Rex 700, which you'll note is absent from me behind me, and there's another video explaining why. Tune in for that. Okay, so this video is going to split down into 5 individual component parts. We're going to look at the packing and how it came. We're going to look at the actual product itself that you can see here. We're going to be looking at communication from the seller, in this case Funkey. We're going to be looking at the instructions, which are down here. And finally we're going to be looking at compatibility with other stick and boom helicopters. So let's dive straight in. Okay, first area, packaging. Oh, but Heli Shed, you should have done an unboxing video and we should have seen all the packaging and seen how well it was done. I'm tired of unpacking videos. It seems to be the modern thing if you're bored and you want to vicariously live sycophantically through somebody else. I'm not going to do that. Look, here's the thing. If the packaging was crap, it wouldn't turn up like that. If the packaging was great, it does turn up like that. The packaging from Funkey, which I procured this through JTech Models, link in the description below, was absolutely first class. The fuselage was cradled in a box, and the box was well packaged and basically came from Hong Kong. Took about 9 days, and I was very content with it when it turned up. There you go, packaging. So out of 5, it gets a 5. Okay, next up, the product. Well, it's absolutely first class. Is it a Roban or Vario standard? I'd say no. And on initial look, when you look at it and you start to delve into some of the detail, you can see that some of the rivets are not clear, some of the panel hatches you can't see, they've been sprayed over, but the end result and the spray, the gloss, etc., the actual whole machine is, or the whole fuselage is in has been very well done, very professionally done. The doghouse comes off like this. You've got plenty of room in there, and you can see all the component parts here from the product. The side fins here, the tail and the boom, and of course the tail fin. And we'll look at that closer afterwards. So for the product, for what it is, i.e. a scale fuselage, which is essentially a pod and boom fitted inside, although custom. You know what? I don't think you can get any better than Funkey out there. I really don't. And if you're going to go to the expense of a Roban or a Vario, then you'd probably buy the mechanics for it, and they of course are specially tailored to fit inside. But this, as a fuselage, you will not get any better, in my view, than a Funkey. It gets a 5. Let's talk about communication. Now, communication with Funkey was 0. That's right, nothing. There's no way of being able to purchase a scale fuselage from Funkey, and if you go along to their website, you'll be able to see all the fuselages they do in China, or Hong Kong. No, China, Hong Kong. Hong Kong's part of China. It's the same place. At the end of the day, you can't buy it direct from Funkey. And of course, you know, it's 2022. We want to buy from the manufacturer. We don't want the middleman. But thankfully, in this case, there is a middleman. And that middleman is JTech Models. The link is in the description. Communication with them, then, which is the best way to mark this particular category, was poor at best, bloody awful at worst, to be honest. Although I did have some communications backwards and forwards in the end with JTech Models, they could certainly look at how they communicate with their clients. Listen, this is not a cheap fuselage. it's a fair few £100, you know, half a grand essentially. And when you communicate with a third party or a middleman, you expect, once you've paid that money, to at least get an email saying, we've got your payment, it's being processed, we'll let you know when it's dispatched. However, it has to be said that once the model was dispatched, i.e. probably once the owner of JTech Models has to do something and go to the post office, then communication was opened up, and they do indeed send you a review, or ask you to do a review on the model. So, you know, out of 5, I'm going to give communication a 2, because there was some communication, it wasn't assuring, and by the time I got it, it was 9 days later. So for JTech Models, a 2. Don't expect anything quick. Okay, category 4, instructions. You get this A4 leaflet with it. There's a few pages in there, etc. And inside there are some pictures taken with a camera from 1932. The instructions are written by someone who has an IQ of 3, which is less than me. I've only got IQ of 4, and very poor vocab and grammar. At the end of the day, this instruction manual is about as much use as a nuclear-powered intercontinental ballistic Mars bar.
Ist die 9. Armee verloren? Wir werden die im Norden und Osten bis an den Osten.
Do yourself a favour. When you get them, throw them. They're no good to you whatsoever. And if this is your first scale fuselage, you'd be better off subscribing to Heli Shed. You can do that down there, or down there, not sure which way. And following a build like this, or going to John Salt. There's also Fly Builder, and there's a couple others out there who have done, to be fair, some very, very good scale fuselage builds. Go to them and watch them and listen to them. But as for following the instructions as provided by Funkey, the answer is no. It's a fat 0. Okay, so there we go. 5 categories. 5 for packing, 5 for product, communication 2, instructions 0, and compatibility 3. And my IQ of 4 out of what's the normal for an average person? 130 plus, 140 perhaps, I don't know. But I make that 18 out of 25. It's not bad, but it's not outstanding either. Final thing I'll say about the scoring. Scoring is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I absolutely love this fuselage. So 18 out of 25 quantitatively. But qualitatively, try saying that when you've had a beer or two. Outstanding. Let's have a closer look at this product and all the bits and pieces that come with it. Okay, I'm going to try and not be Mr. I drink too much, shaky hands. But I thought I'd take control of the camera here and take you through some of the bits that come with it. Now, first of all, I've just popped that fuselage on there, and if I take that off, I should be able to, you can see it comes off, it just slides on, okay, and we're going to epoxy around there and use a bit of sandpaper around here just to roughen that up so the epoxy goes on all right. But that just very simply goes on there, which is great for a pod and boom because it means that when you're actually fitting this, let's put that in, it means that when you're actually start to fit this, then actually you haven't got to, you know, put the boom in, you know, all the way through or whatever. But it means that bit can come off and you can work on the main area. These exhausts are actually plastic. I bought a 500 Airwolf, and they've put a couple of videos up from that. And those were actually metal. And I could remove these and buy from Vario some metal exhaust, but I won't. I'm going to keep it exactly as they are. But these are not metal, it's a bit of a shame. The meshing is already put in for you, but you can see there's no lights fitted or anything else. The quality of finish is first class, and you know, as I said, this meshing is all done for you. When you get closer up, you can see here these panel hatches. Yeah, these panel hatches here, you know, that they've just been sprayed over. They're not, you know, there's no detail there. I mean, you could detail those. You could buy these particular panels and panel hatches from Vario. I have considered that, but to be perfectly frank with you, they're bloody expensive. And I think Mrs. Heli Shed has been accommodating enough, so I won't be doing that. I'll be leaving the fuselage exactly as it is. The doors do not open, so there's no way of being able to open the doors, but the doghouse does come off. So there's the doghouse off, and inside, well, you know, it's fiberglass, but they've put some carbon reinforcement inside. This is a piece of carbon panel that I've got that I'll be using, and you can see here that they've started to put some of the wooden or the model ply inside for you for server mounts and for retracts, etc. And you know, it's good quality, it's a good foundation, but you know, if you strapped or if you bolted a frame direct to this fuselage, just going straight through the floor here, you know, you would induce serious vibrations. So, you know, we've got some work to do when we start to build that. We're going to put a false ply 3mm ply floor in, so we've got something solid to bolt the frame to. So yeah, and you also get a load of panels, glass panels, and they come well packaged. Let's take you over to here. There you can see here the panels are, the glass is all good, and these go on the outside, yeah, the longer you take doing those, the better, purely and simply because otherwise you're going to have glue everywhere. But you know what, the fuselage is absolutely first class. I have seen some videos of people saying, you know, the doghouse is not secured well enough. You've got some rare earth magnets at the back here which keep the back of the doghouse in, and then you've got a bolt section up here where you screw a bolt in. I think for this I'll be doing a custom way of being able to secure the doghouse, probably via small catches or whatever. The other thing to bear in mind about this fuselage is that it's not going to come, remember, you know, perfectly ready to go. You are going to have to make some adjustments, particularly to the cowl up at the top here, for the swash plate and the control rods, and as I said, inside. The retract side of things is quite interesting, and underneath here you can see again the model ply framing which has been put in for you at the front and the back, but you've got some significant work to make the retracts work smoothly in there. Not just the way in which the retract works in partnership with a mini sized servo. Don't try and put a standard size servo in there, it simply won't fit, and we'll see the frame in a minute. Other bits and pieces that come with the helicopter, well, of course you've got the tail fin here, and you've got a light section at the back here. It's about 10mm, just short of 10mm, so a 7mm light will fit in there perfectly once it's seated. But you know, you've got to work out how to get the cable through there. This is hollow, so actually I'll probably come in from the side, bit of modelling wire down there through the middle, and pull the cable through like that. It'd be interesting to see how that goes. But essentially, you know, the tail fin is ready to go. That, of course, will bolt onto there. Of course, you've got the side fins, synonymous with the Bell 222, which is the side fins that come out, and an unbelievable method of being able to secure these to the side there. Look out for the video when we start putting the fuselage together on that uniqueness, so to speak. The tail section, which goes on this way, enables you essentially to be able to fine tune. Let me see if I can get past it. Right. Fine tune the back here, because look, here's the thing, it's going to go on like this, and the rotors are this side, obviously the tail blades are this side, so you're going to have to end up cutting a hole here to be able to enable that, which is a bit of a shame, but of course, remember what I said, this is a scale fuselage and lots of different helicopters will fit it, so you know, you are making it yours. Brilliant. Right, let's. So there we go. So final summary on the actual fuselage itself. As I said in the scoring that I've done for it, outstanding. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You get what you pay for. You're not going to get the panel hatches in metal. You're not going to get the rivets on it. But the finish is first class. The fuselage, which is made out of fiberglass and reinforced with some carbon fibre, is first class. You haven't got a cockpit with it and little people and stuff, and if you want that, then go and buy a Roban or a Vario. The other bits that come with it are great. The exhaust is not metal, but that's not a problem. And you know, if you want to put lighting in it, you're going to have to work out how you're going to remove this stubble on the side there. I should probably grind that down or cut it off. And likewise with beacon elements, there's no sort of beacons or lighting with it whatsoever, so you will have to provide that yourself. But you're not going to get any better than this, simple as that. Okay, let's have a closer look at the component parts that we're going to get with it. Well, first of all, we're going to get two main wheels and a nose gear wheel. These are okay, they're foam, you know, you could always upgrade these with Vario type rubber, etc., but I think that's going over the top. These wheels are perfectly fine. 40mm for the two main, 30mm for the nose gear. The retract system here is not servoless. You'll have to use a mini size servo for these. These two main ones are at 95 degrees and this one at 90 degrees, and that's very important that you make sure you get those right, otherwise the front nose gear won't seat properly in the housing. And you've got some bits of plywood here, which enables you to sort of have an element of the building side of things. This amazing, probably over-engineered over-engineered system here, well, if you imagine the boom, these are going to get glued inside the boom with these sticking out, and then via the use of these and this, they're going to get glued onto the actual side wings there, and then the side wings will simply pop onto the side, and you can then epoxy them in place. So quite a probably over-engineered and needlessly complex method, but we'll use that. These servo housings here, which are for the main gear, with the nose gear already in place. Now, quite interestingly, when you look at these, you think to yourself, Christ, how the hell am I going to get a servo in there? And there is space, of course, to be a little bit arty-farty and extend this out and maybe come down south here a little bit and fit a standard servo in there. There's no need for that. That's overcomplicating matters and actually weakening this. This is going to go into the side part where the, yeah, that way around. That's going to go by the side wing there, where a servo needs to be mounted in there. You need a mini size servo. From north to south here is 17mm, and from west to east, yes, that's navigation, people, you're looking at 32mm. So that's a mini size servo. So get yourself a mini size servo. Good servo to use is the EAS MD002, which gives you about 1.9 kilos, 60 degrees, about 0.13 seconds. That's more than enough. That's for those tech heads out there. But if you're not a tech head, don't worry. Just get yourself a mini servo. You get what you pay for, and get one that's going to give you at least, I'd say, probably 1.3 kilos, something like that. But don't be too concerned with that, because these retract systems here have a locking mechanism in place. This is the Mark II Bell 222. So once that retract system is locked, you know, the wheel is not going to buckle underneath just because the servo wasn't strong enough. So essentially the servo needs to be strong enough to be able to pull this arm out, because it's got a self-locking mechanism in place. Some lovely little windscreen wipers here, beautiful little things, and you know, some nice little detail here with some screws, some Phillip head screws that you're going to need when mounting the tail fin and the side pods, etc., and they've already been coloured in for you, the white there being for the doghouse, which we won't be using.
This particular piece of plywood here is in order for you to create the exact distance from level to the bottom of the boom, basically, which is 158 millimeters. The mounting ply that you get here, which you can see is slightly angled in order to afford the right angle through the boom, actually is about as much use as these two back plates here for the Herobo Freya and the Thunder Tiger Raptor. These can go in the same place as the instructions. If you're going to mount your helicopter on a couple of thin bits of ply like that, then you need to think about your hobby very, very seriously, because by the time this machine gets in the air and Bella is airborne as Project 6, we're looking at probably around a region of about £2,000 sterling, something like that. If you considered a brand new helicopter being put in there and then the fuselage, then all the bits and pieces, probably around about £3,000. Remembering, of course, that this particular beautiful model is having professional lighting. Final thing I'm going to say about the bits and pieces that you get with it, and that is on the actual landing gear. Now look, here's the thing. A thin piece of wire at 3mm and 70mm or 75mm from north to south, top to bottom. You know, that in my view is a bit like getting dressed up to go to a cocktail party in a toga. There are times and places for it, and there are times and places to dress up in a toga at a cocktail party, but probably not at the Ritz. And there are times and places when to have these sorts of landing gears. I don't think that this is in keeping with the rest of the model, and although I'll be using these as part of the mock-up, I think it is a good thing to replace these. And when you watch the video, which you can do in the series, we will be replacing these with scale model retract landing gear that actually looks like landing gear rather than bits of metal. But for those of you who are considering the actual fuselage now, what I'll say to you is this: the Bell 222 has forward knees. In other words, this is for the right side main body, this is for the left side no main body. Just think of a knee, there's the knee, and this is for the tail. This is for the main nose, sorry.
Okay, legends, there you go. That's my review of the Funkey Bell 222 that we're using for Project 6. 1.55 meters from nose to the end there. And you know what? It's one of the biggest that you are going to be able to build as an amateur, as a hobbyist. You know, I'm so looking forward to getting this in the air. Preparation is absolutely fundamental, and preparation is key. Taking your time, like rule 3, you can see that up there, when it comes to building a helicopter, absolutely applies to this. Take your time, take regular breaks, do not rush, and the end product will pay you back several fold. We've got a year to do this because we've promised that we will launch this and fly this a year from building it. I've got a funny feeling it will take us less than that, and just we won't help ourselves. We'll have to go out there and give it a go. But I'm so looking forward to starting this build. There you go. Hope that was useful. Are there better ones out there on the review? I think Fly Builder has done a pretty good one, to be honest with you, but probably not as detailed as one I've provided you here. What's the final words to you and my final advice? If you're thinking about it, getting a Funkey 700 Bell 222, if you're thinking about it, that's good enough. Don't think anymore. Go out and buy it. You will not be disappointed. But be prepared to do an awful lot of work, and be prepared to do a lot of custom work to make this fit your helicopter that you're using as a donor, and to make it your helicopter. But it is a fantastic fuselage in which to start your build. Good luck. See you in the next video in the Project 6 playlist. Until the next video then, take care. Bye bye.